Hi there, welcome to Unrestricted View Film Festival. My name's James Wren, I'm the festival director, and today for Meet the Actor, I am joined by Louie Bayliss. Hello, Louie.
Hi, James. How are you?
Thanks, mate. How's lockdown for you?
I love it. I love lockdown. Absolutely. I'm in my element. I always say that if you like the person that you're locked down with, you're in heaven. If you don't, it's probably pretty gnarly. I'm all right. But I just think hair. I just need a hairdresser. If I
Yeah.
could get a hairdresser, I'd be all right. I'd be all
Yeah.
right. Apart from that, I know it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you with it?
Yeah, it's all right. Sort of some days you kind of, I miss things like the pub, and
I miss all my mates. I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
friends. It's just that's what's really difficult.
Yeah, no, I hear that. But speaking of lockdown, this is I mean, you've jumped onto the artistic lockdown bandwagon, if you like, and come up with a show. But I think the difference with your one, this web series, is a lot of ones I've seen are very much horror orientated, whereas yours totally isn't. You've gone the absolute opposite way, and almost a rom-com, really. Um,
Yeah.
so tell us, how did you come about Would
Well,
Like to Meet? It's called Would
I
Like
so,
to Meet, and it's
yeah. So it started in lockdown, which is, but it's only because of the nature that it did actually start in lockdown. So it's called Would Like to Meet, and I kind of started reading all this stuff about people, romantically what they were going to do, because we kind of got into like the fourth week or the fifth week, and then people started to go, am I ever going to have another relationship ever again? And how does this work? And so it is about two people that ordinarily, if they went out, they'd probably be okay and would be able to get into relationships and stuff. But given the situation, it kind of forced their arm to go to sort of internet dating and to try and have a meaningful relationship,
yeah,
which which could stand the test of time whilst in lockdown, and just to see how that. And so that was the initial thing about it. It's got more of a twist than that overall now, so it kind of started in lockdown, and then it's kind of shifted along, and I think it's that the characters have really developed as well. So it's kind of
yeah.
it's moved forward in that way.
Now, because of course the other main character in it is a lovely Gaynor Faye. Now the thing is, you're both in completely different places shooting
Yeah.
these things, so you're making a film sort of remotely, really. How's that been?
It's been all right, actually. There's four characters in it at the moment, which and they have so they both have their friends as well, their confidants as well, which are like portals to the outside world as well. But it's a very specific kind of convention, which I quite like.
Mm.
So it keeps it really tight and really tidy. Initially, with looking at the restraints, you think, oh, is it going to work, and how's this going to pan out? But I spoke to Gaynor, and she was up for doing it, and she's a brilliant actress, and I hope that the acting and the storyline transcends the fact that we've got those confines. We do, that's our situation. But I think it kind of adds to the stylistic, side of the piece. I think that's stylistically, I quite like that.
Yeah.
So it's, what else can we do? We've got
Yeah.
we've got to do it that way. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Well, it's very impressive, but I mean, practically, sort of, how are you doing this? Are you sort of both sort of filming scenes and sending them so the other one can direct them and send them back, or
So we'd call in and have a bit of a chat about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have an idea what I'd written, and then she would take the direction, but also I wanted Gaines to be able to run with it as well, and try different stuff and bring stuff to the table, which she has as well. So sometimes she would, in the other episodes when we're not necessarily in the same scene, she would send me that. So she would go off and film it on her own, have some get her daughter to help her, and have some direction, and then just come up with ideas as well. That would all come back to me, and then it's all been edited to this end. But now we're kind of in the territory where we're doing stuff together. But that's quite fun as well. So what I try to do quite a lot of the time is do one take if we can, or keep it rolling at least. and then record the screen as well. And then we just kind of get really nice frissons that you would get if you were on stage, or, you know, if you were in front of the camera together live. Because if you do it section by section, you can do that, and obviously you can pull bits out. But if you do it section by section, it's very feels very stilted. Whereas I much prefer that emotional spectrum, if you like, which is allowed to come out if you do that. You know, it's, to be honest, it's learning. It's all learning as well. You know, it's not a way that we've had to work before. So, but yeah, I hope what translates is that there's this kind of quite warm and delicate emotional quality there, hopefully.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it really does work. I was really impressed with just, you know, how, I mean, slightly fascinated how you managed to do it, but because it does feel like you're in the same room a lot of the time, and when you're obviously
I assure you we are not, I promise you.
Yeah.
We're not.
That's fantastic. Of course, there's two other fantastic characters in it, you know, one a dog and a cat. So how did you get them involved in the project? And I mean, how difficult was that? Were they up for it and going along with it? And...
well, I had a big, long, big, long thing going on with Equity, where, you know, they were, and I was had to. So the court case has been delayed, and so they allowed me to continue with the shooting of it. So, so I inherited a beautiful dog called Baxter just after Christmas, just at the New Year. And he's a joy, and he's now truly part of my family. So I just got chatting to him one day and said, "Old son, would you fancy coming into the fold?" And he just went, "Yeah, absolutely." So he's probably the best actor in it, if I'm honest. And Gaynor has a cat, and I just liked the idea that we could use the two pets as subtitles. Is that dramatic irony that the audience gets to see all of the subtext and what we're reading between the lines, what's going on for us in a closed space. We all do it. We all pretend we're not mad, but we are. You know, we talk to our pets about stuff, and so I liked it as a convention. Messy's a little more tricky. Baxter does tend to, but you know what cats are like. They do their own thing.
I know. They want their own trailer and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah. Star wagon outside the house. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, Would Like to Meet is part of the web series selection, which is going to be on Saturday, the 18th of July. And you can buy your tickets at unrestrictedview.co.uk. But before we go, I'd just like to ask you a few sort of short questions to get to know you a little bit better, if that's all right, Lou.
Yeah.
Who is your favourite actor?
I find these questions really hard because I grew up with, you know, Michael Gambon and Tom Courtenay and John Hurt. They were actors that really had a big impression on me. You know, even now Tim Spole's doing stuff that I like. You know, there's loads of them. It's difficult because I find English actors are very different to American actors as well. Yeah. You know, if you were going to ask me what my favourite series was, then that's going to have a different actor in it. You know, so I find those three are good. They're good examples of British actors that I really like. I think I mentioned Imelda Staunton earlier. Did just a wonderful performance in Trying. I felt that she at the moment. I watched a film last night with her and Tim Spall, and she was incredible in it. You know, so there's a lot of British actors that I really like, but I feel it's a very different vibe to the American stuff we get. And you know, if we want to talk about American actors, Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad was, for me, I'm excited by emotions and by reality rather than, you know. So I've been watching Ozark a little bit, but then I find there's a man in a hole who's being tortured by the cartel, and he still looks quite cool about it. And for me, Bryan Cranston's, his expanse, people will disagree with me, I'm sure, but his expanse of just wanting to do it with his family, and the moment that he realises he's not going to die, is incredible, because his journey, and I feel a lot of the characters in there had this huge journey that was very, very real and very on the edge and very scary. And that's the kind of stuff I like.
Yeah. Cool. So, Well, I won't ask what's your favourite TV show, because I think Breaking Bad might be up there.
Well, Breaking Bad definitely, but for my Desert Island Disc, I'd say Frasier as well.
Okay.
Because,
Oh yeah.
you know, whilst I was saying I don't, you know, I gear towards real stuff and things about people. I think Frasier is really cleverly written, and I think it's character driven, which is why it is about clever writing in that one, because it's a neurotic brother, and his brother's even more. And so I love that, and I think I'd never get tired of watching it. It's very cleverly written. It's very funny. So that would be up there as well. But, you know, I love comedy. It depends. Yeah. You see, this is why it's so hard.
Yes,
different genre.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So, all right, let's try film. What's your favourite film?
Oh, wow, that's really tough.
I mean, if you're like me, it can change from day to day, you know.
It does change. It does. You know, if I'd seen Green Mile recently, I'd be saying Green Mile. If you know, it depends what mood you're in, doesn't it? It's like music.
Does,
like sometimes, you know, watching a Harrison Ford film is great. You know, you're in the mood for it, and you know, I don't know. The Fugitive was kind of quite a great film to watch if you wanted an action film, but it wouldn't be my film that I'd go, this was I like North by Northwest, Cary Grant. That's an amazing film. Alfie, the rabbit, you know, is an incredible film, which is, there's loads. I mean, there's loads of films that I find it really hard to, you know, I grew up on the Goodfellas and Scarface, the Al Pacinos and Rob De Niro, these sort of films which I loved as well. But I think as I've gotten older, definitely films about people as well, and Bullets Over Broadway, which is a great Woody Allen film. He's not in it, so Jim Broadbent, another British actor that kind of marries with the American thing. It's a wonderful film because it's about actors and it's about the mob. I'm going to say Bullets Over Broadway. There you go.
Yeah, okay, great. And finally, if there was one role that, you know, of any film that's been made, you know, that you would have loved to have played, what would that be?
Of any film? It's really difficult. I really liked Christopher Walken in The Deer Hunter. I thought it was a fantastic performance. But then, you know, then when you start thinking about roles like, I know that my friends they'd be like, you should play probably let's think. What was the Oscar-winning film where Tom Hanks and he's running and
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. I should probably play Forrest Gump, just because I'm very bendy, very sporty, and you know, clearly that would be the right role for me if my memory was still there. I don't know. There's so many good iconic roles that if you said theatre, I'd say probably historically Richard III or the Venetian Twins or something that's got a lot of scope. But film-wise, there's so many good parts that, you know, Jack Nicholson, you know, Five Easy Pieces and Chinatown. There's some fantastic, you know, I love those films. So
so many.
I'll just be in a big feature film. I'll do that. Sort it out for me, James.
Yeah, I'll see what I'll call around, see what I can do. Thank you, Louie. Thank you for that. Once again, I'm just going to say, would like to meet is going to be on Saturday, the 18th of July. You can get your tickets at unrestrictedview.co.uk. Thank you, Louie, for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thanks for having me in the festival, and thanks for, you know, running it. It's a brilliant film festival. You should be really proud. It's amazing what you're doing. So
thank you.
Congratulations to you as well. This what number is this? This is
the fifth year.
Fifth. I knew it was around about there. Well, what you've created so far, James. You're creating an animal.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Thank you very much. Okay, well, that's it for today. Next, we've got a trailer from our sponsors, Free at Last, for their wonderful season 3 of Agatha Raisin. Thank you. See you later.
See you later. Bye.
Death threats juicy enough for you?
I hope you're not the amateur busybody that the police say you are.
Right. Well, I'll show them. I thought I might take up a new hobby.
The mating dance. Hot and reckless.
I have something to confess.
Deadly. You all set on the plan?
All clear.
Mingle. Eyes. Ears.
Rogering that.
I can assure you that I can get to the bottom of this for an ever so professional fee.